Rhino is one of the coolest warframes there are. You can get it pretty early on, and it will accompany you, like, basically till the end game content. For this warframe, I have two builds specifically that I'll show you, starting from the secret one that mostly nobody uses. And I'll show it to you while actually being in game. So let's go to Venus, capture mission, and you'll see I've even equipped like a Strun, which is a weapon that new players could have, so to not seem like too much overpowered, and that's why it is strong. First things first, we spawn. We'll talk about all the abilities a little bit more in depth later on. We use our second ability and just run for the capture target. See how freaking fast I am. Obviously, like, the more you get acquaintance, I think it is the word, with the in-game movement, the better it is, the faster you are. Strun kill to the capture target. And as you may have noticed right now, this build, which is my favorite build ever. This is literally the warframe I use the most, and I'll even show you, like, I'm not saying bullshit. And this is the build I've used it with most of the time. Is a speedrun build. And I freaking love it, because, like, not only you are fast as fuck, but you even are basically, let's say, mortal compared to status effects, because your secondary ability literally makes you not care about anything, as you've seen. Demo should have kicked me down on the ground, but it didn't, because we got the iron skin. This is the first build. Now, before showing you the two builds and talking about the abilities, I'll show you how to get this warframe. You basically need to go to Venus and go to Fossa to kill the Jackal. Once you reach the waypoint that the mission gives you, summon the Jackal. Let's skip the cutscene. I'll show you how to kill him really quickly. You need to shoot at its legs until they go out of health. Then he'll go like into this spinning motion thing, so you either hide behind the walls until it is red, because only the red hurts you. Or, if you don't want to, you can run following it. This is fine too. Or another third way is jumping high in the sky. Once he goes back down, you can do a Parazon attack, and he loses its first health bar. After this happens, animation comes in, he switches places, and we follow him. Now, same thing as before. Find a leg that has yet to be destroyed. Destroy it. Defend yourself from the lasers. I'll show you, like, even going high up. He won't attack you because, like, you're too high. And once he's back down again, Parazon attack. This time he won't go away, you won't follow him. We can kill the enemies that spawn. There's like this electric barrier that deals damage, but it is not that important, to be fair. It is not that strong. Find the other leg that is missing, and he goes back into the laser. Laser done, to the ground, Parazon attack. Find the last leg, last laser, last Parazon attack, if I didn't miss it. And GG, the boss is done. Now we go to the extraction point real quick. And once you extract, you will get one out of the 3 random Rhino components, which is chassis, system, and neuroptics. You need all 3. Then after you got all 3 pieces, you go into the normal in-game shop, look up for Rhino, click on it, and here you can buy the blueprint for 35,000 credits. Then you go into your foundry, look up for Rhino. As you can see, I got all 3 pieces. I can first craft the neuroptics, chassis, and systems, and it will take 12 hours. Once you do that, you can craft the actual warframe, and it requires 24 hours. Okay, now let's go see the abilities that Rhino have. To be fair, like, its abilities can be pretty complex, but I do not really think it is that important to understand them, like, so deeply. So I'll tell you, like, quickly what they do and what they're usually used for. First, Rhino ability, Rhino Charge. As you can see, you basically charge forward, deal damage to enemies, and knock them so farther away. You may even notice there's like a combo counter, if you can call it that. It basically increases the damage, the distance you travel, and it makes you waste less energy every time you use it. Honestly speaking, this ability is pretty useless. You can use it, like, for example, when you're doing parkour to extend your range. But, like, other than that, to be fair, it is not that important in the builds we will see soon. Second ability, this one's really actually good. Iron Skin, this is what makes Rhino my favorite character, to be fair. You just use it, you get 3 seconds of invincibility, and then you get some overguard, as you can see in the top right. it is basically a shield on top of your shields and health, right? So as you can see, once I have Iron Skin up, they do not deal shield or health damage to me. Instead, they deal damage on the overguard. Now, the cool thing about this ability, right, is that once you get those 3 seconds of invincibility, as you may see, the damage is stacking up. Let them... Okay, let's do this again. Now you'll see it even better. And all the damage we take in those 3 seconds is converted into overguard on top of the normal base one, right? So as you can see, like, we got roughly 10,000 damage taken in those 3 seconds, and then we got 10,000 and a little bit more of overguard. While, if I stop the enemies once again, I remove my second ability and I recast it, the normal Iron Skin overguard amount I would get is roughly 3,000. So the more damage you take in those 3 seconds, the better it is. And this is like what makes this ability great, no matter what level the enemies are, because it scales with their damage. So the stronger the enemies are, the stronger your Iron Skin is. When it comes to the third ability, it basically buffs your damage. So I'll show it to you. If we shoot to this guy, 5, 16, 8, you know, you can see damage. We use the Roar ability. We got a 50% damage buff with this build. As you can see, with crits I deal a little bit more. Obviously, those are level 120 heal buff enemies, so you will not see much difference with a weapon that's useless. As you can see, it is helpful, because it makes you deal more damage, and not only to you, but even to close allies. As you can see, like, it is an AoE range. And obviously, you can make it better than 50%, increasing the ability strength. But the 2 builds I base this Warframe on do not use it. Last but not least, which is an extremely cool ability, the 4th one, which is Rhino Stomp. You stomp the ground, enemies fly up. It is a great crowd control ability, and after a few seconds, based on your ability duration, they fall down. This is an extremely cool ability, but once again, in the 2 builds I'll show you, it has no use. So let's not waste any more time and let's go see the build starting from the speedrun one, which is what you've seen in the mission. Do not care about the arcanes, fake that they're not there, and do not care that this is a Rhino Prime. Even if you got a normal Rhino, it is the same thing. They both got the same polarization, which are those things, like this little symbol that the Warframe has by itself. And what this symbol does is if you put mods of the same symbol, they cost half. So for example, Armored Agility, which costs 11, I put it in the same slot, it costs 6. Now, when it comes to the build, let's start from the Aura, which is Sprint Boost. You basically get more sprint speed. The way to get this mod, honestly, is either buying it, which, fair, or getting it through Night Waves, Red Offerings. You need to wait for it to appear, because the offerings change. Then we got Armored Agility, which is get from Nightmare Missions, which gives you a little bit more armor that stacks how much base overguard you have with your second ability, and gives you even more sprint speed. Another mod that you can get from the Nightmare Missions is Streamline Form, which gives you plus 30% slide and minus 30% friction, which I'll literally show you right now what it means. Slide speed, obviously, is this one, right? I slide, it goes way farther. The friction, as you can see, if I slide and move, like to the left or to the right, there's kind of some friction. It is like if I'm going on ice, basically. And this is extremely great to do speedruns, because like it keeps the momentum going. But obviously, like, the more friction you have, like, the less friction you have, sorry, the harder it is to control your Warframe. But once you get the hang of it, it is extremely great. After those 2 mods, we got Rush, which gives you even more sprint speed, and this is a mod that you will basically get just by playing. It is pretty common. And the same goes for Maglev, which does the exact same thing as Streamline Form, but as Rush you will basically get it playing. Like, there's no need to worry about it. After those, we got Speed Drift, which gives you more sprint speed and casting speed, which means like your abilities will be cast faster. And Coaction Drift, which makes your sprint boost even better. Those 2 you get through Lua puzzles. Each drift mod has its own puzzle, so you need to find both the speed one and the Coaction Drift one. To make it simple and fast, once you unlock Lua, because that's where you can find them, run the Copernicus mission, which is a capture mission, which is really fast. Just speed through the capture target and then speed through like the whole map to find the puzzles that you need. Then we got Fleeting Expertise, which is a corrupted mod that you will be farming a lot as a new player, because not only this, there are a lot of great corrupted mods. For example, Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, Narrow-Minded, like there's a lot of them. This makes your ability cost way less, thanks to the ability efficiency. It obviously cuts up on the ability duration, which is why they're called corrupted mods, right? Because they've got a plus and a minus. But you don't care since the speedrun build is literally only based on iron skin, so it doesn't matter. Last but not least, Amar's Anguish. This is a mod that you can get from open world bounties after you completed the quest. It is not that important, honestly speaking, but like we had a spot and this fit it, so like that's why it is there. Gives us some parkour velocity and sprint speed, which is fine to have. It is a speedrun build. When it comes to this build, you do need one forma. Formas are basically those things, see the polarization, that once you get your Warframe to level 30, you can select it, select whatever slot you want, so you can override already existing one or neutral ones, and give it a specific mod symbol, right? Polarization. In this case, for the speedrun build, to have it exactly as I have it, you need to place a minus polarization. You see, I've placed it here, but it doesn't matter where. Or, if you have no formas, or do not want to use them on your iron speedrun build, do not worry. The only thing you need to change is removing coaction drift from the build. This way, you will need no formas. I'll show you. No formas needed. Now, I know some of these mods will not be available to you like as soon as possible, especially the golden ones. Until then, you can replace them with whatever you want. Best is if they give you parkour velocity, sprint speed, bullet jump stuff, like literally any mod that makes you faster is fine in this build. And as I said, like I'll show you, Rhino is still, no matter what, my most used Warframe. Now, when it comes to the second build, which is the Iron Skin build, in this case, you will not need any formas, because you got Steel Charge, which, honestly speaking, it is literally there just to not make you waste any formas on this build, because it is not needed, to be fair. As per the other, Aura, Sprint Boost, you can find it in the Nightwave offerings. Then we got an extremely important mod, which is what carries this whole build, which is Iron Shrapnel. This is a Rhino tank build. So you got a pretty good base overguard, but the important thing is that once you cast it, I can, whenever I want, thanks to that mod on Shrapnel, recast the ability while it is already casted and detonate my shield. This means, sure, like the detonation is something, right? It is not that bad, it does some damage, it knocks opponents over, as you can see. But the important thing is not this, but the fact that once you detonate it, you can instantly recast it. And this will make you basically immortal without needing to care about when to cast the ability. So whenever you want, you press it, repress it, and you're immortal again. You can get the mod from the Steel Meridian or the Perrin sequence. Then in combo with this mod, we got Natural Talent, which is a mod that you will pretty much later on in time find, but do not worry, like it's not that extremely important. You can substitute it even with Speed Drift while you wait for it. And it makes your ability cast faster. That's literally the only thing that does. Then you got Intensify, which gives you some more ability strength, making the base Rhino Iron Skin better. Then you got Flow. Obviously, you can use the normal one, don't worry about it. And it gives you just more max energy. Those two mods are mods that you will basically find just playing, don't worry. It doesn't seem like so, but they're pretty common. Not the primed version, this one you need to buy it from Rocketeer, but the normal version, Flow, you will just find it by playing. Same goes for Intensify. Once you have the Umbral Intensify, you can even think about using that. And same goes for Umbral Fiber, which normally, obviously, you would change and swap with Steel Fiber. It is the same thing. I just don't use it because like I've got it ranked 0. Well, this is a little bit higher, but they are the same mod. So obviously you're gonna go with Steel Fiber. The reason why we put Steel Fiber is because, as I've said to you while talking about the speedrun build, the second ability scales with your armor. And other than that, you get less damage in-game, which is obviously nice. A thing I forgot to mention, sorry, Iron Shrapnel, rank 0. You can max it out, it doesn't matter that much, but the damage it does, I think, is not that important at all, so I just keep it rank 1 and drain as less as possible. As for the speedrun build, we got Fleeting Expertise to make your iron skin cost as less as possible, and Armored Agility. That fits in this slot, and it is always nice to have more armor, same thing as I said before, and some speed is always great. And for basically the same reason As armored agility, I've put Armor Zetrid, which gives you more armor and more ability strength, which means more Iron Skin Overguard. Obviously, if you do not use Umbral Fiber, but instead use the normal one, you can remove one of those, you decide. I do like some sprint speed, so I would remove Armor Zetrid, and you can put whatever else you want. For example, you can go with even more ability efficiency with Streamline, and make your Rhino skin cost just 12, so you can basically spam it. When it comes to arcanes, you can honestly put whatever you want, it doesn't matter. I do tend to put Arcane Guardian to stack even more armor, but like honestly speaking it doesn't matter. And Arcane Fury because I do love my melee. But honestly speaking, like, it doesn't matter which build, the first of the or the second one. As soon as you got Iron Skin on, you do not care about status effects, you do not care about damage, you just go straight up and kill people. A really great reason to use the Iron Skin build, which is why I honestly created it at first, is doing the index. It is a really good credit farm. Problem is, in time you will lose your max shield and health. With this build, you do not need to care about it, because you got Iron Skin, and once it is about to fall off, you cast it and recast it, and you're immortal once again. Rhino Dance, because Rhino is the best Warframe ever, at least for me.